Most custody courts will require what is called a child evaluation. This is an example of what you can expect. Throughout this evaluation process, which can take a few weeks or even a few months, the evaluator will interview you, your child's mother, and the child. The evaluator will also study your child's grades, drawings, and similar things. The evaluator will also talk to any friends, teachers, babysitters, basically anyone that might be able to lend some perspective on the custody dispute. Eventually, the child evaluator will come into your home and observe you and your child interacting. The child evaluator generally won't say anything. He or she will just sit there quietly observing, almost like a bird watcher. Your child is likely to find this puzzling. Don't be surprised if they ask you about the stranger sitting on the couch. Best to ask your attorney how to answer this question. In my case, the court had prohibited us from discussing the custody trial with our child, so I just told my son it was a person who wanted to learn more about parenting. My son seemed totally satisfied with that answer. What I did not add was while this person was sitting there, they were also making some very good money. During the evaluator's visit, just go about your normal routines with your child. This is not the time to try to prove anything. In my case, during the home visit, my son and I did laundry, and later we had a lot of fun making paper airplanes. By the way, if you are a sincere dad doing the best you can, the choice of evaluator normally should not worry you. Just trust the relationship you have with your child. However, chances are good you will see attempts by the child's mother to control the choice of evaluator. There is no mystery why a child's mother might insist on a particular child evaluator. Mother and her attorney have likely done their research. They found an evaluator with a history of anti father bias, and they want to stack the deck in mother's favor. If you do get an evaluator with anti father bias, you will likely first see that bias when the evaluator interprets your psychological test scores. Because the raw test results are not normally available to the judge, a biased evaluator basically has a free ride to interpret your raw test results any way they want. In this case, for example, look at the words and phrases the evaluator chose to associate with the father. Conversely, look at some of the phrases the evaluator chose to create an impression of the mother. Bias on the part of an evaluator is hardly new. Custody courts have been dealing with this for a long time. In my case, here's an example of how the evaluator's bias manifested itself. Our child evaluation took place in the Pacific Northwest, a region of the country known at that time for widespread anti-military sentiment. Accordingly, as you can see on the left, our child evaluator sought to associate me with militaristic terms. The evaluator likely trusted these terms would be perceived negatively by the judge. It seemed to me and my attorney that the evaluator believed the judge would share in the region's hostility to anything military, and thus the evaluator chose words designed to create a negative impression of me. Conversely, as you can see on the right, that same child evaluator encouraged the court to associate our child's mother with much softer terms, including calm, pleasant, and caring. The evaluator also sought to preempt one of the main issues that was likely to arise about our child's mother in our pending custody trial, and that issue was the mother's explosive temper. The judge in your child custody case might be astute at detecting this kind of anti-father bias. However, never take a chance on that. When you get the child evaluation report, study it word by word and line by line. Bring every instance of bias to the court's attention. Remember, no matter how neutral they may claim to be, child evaluators are human, and many of them are mothers themselves. Despite their claims of objectivity, many child evaluators do indeed have a dog in your child custody race. Make sure you show any bias to the judge.